Hi everyone, welcome to our bi-weekly SIG Docs meeting for the Kubernetes project. Today is Tuesday, the 3rd of March 2026. My name is Natalie Vlatko. I'm one of the co-chairs of SIG Docs. We've also got Kat Cosgrove, one of our tech leads, who's also on the call, and a swath of other contributors and maintainers. Sayak, one of our approvers, who's also on the call. Thanks for joining so late your time, Sayak. Um, and for those watching later on YouTube, you can always join our meetings every second Tuesday, usually at the 10:30 a.m. Pacific time, 7:30 p.m. Central Eastern time. Please join the Google group for special interest group for documentation, and you'll get those calendar invites. Um, what we usually do with our meetings here is we do a little bit of a round of introduction of possible new contributors who wanted to unmute and say hello. Is there anyone on the call that wants to do that today? All right, we've got a lot of folks on the call that I've seen before anyhow, so that's really great. For anyone who is joining later or wants to say hello after seeing this later on YouTube, please come into our SIG Docs channel over in the Kubernetes Slack. We'd love to meet you and help you on your contribution journey. Uh, we've got a few updates and reminders to go through for today. What I first want to mention is that given that we are part of the Kubernetes project, this meeting and all of our collaboration should abide by the Kubernetes Code of Conduct, which means we want folks to be respectful and kind to one another, not only here in this meeting, but on PRs, issues, in Slack, all the places that we collaborate. If you've got any concerns or issues or would like to raise a Code of Conduct complaint, you can reach out to the Kubernetes Code of Conduct Committee at conduct@kubernetes.io, and you can also remain anonymous in that specific correspondence too. Okay, let's go through our updates for today. We've got updates around current PR wranglers. Sayak, you are our PR wrangler for this week. Thanks so much. You're being shadowed by Codes by Onati. For folks who don't know what a PR wrangler is, it is those of us who are approvers trying to push through contributions through the pipeline. And so you can always pick on the PR wrangler for the week to help review the PRs that you'd like to get looked at. Next week's PR wrangler is Kat, also on the call, being shadowed by Kelsey J38 and Kreflo. And then I'm the following week's PR wrangler. Look at that, all three of us are on the call. Also being shadowed by Kreflo as well. So for the folks of the next 3 weeks, please feel free to reach out to us. I will say that the week of KubeCon in Europe, being hosted in Amsterdam, we will not have a PR wrangler scheduled because likely many of us may be busy with that event or overloaded with other work. But these next 3 weeks, we can have a look at the PRs that you'd like to push through. Approvers who are also watching and on the call, please make sure you look at your wrangler shifts, but we'll also remind you here in the meeting too. Um, the next thing that we have is issue wrangling. This is a very similar job, but we're trying to push issues that need to be triaged so that especially new folks can jump in and work on the things that SIGDocs cares about. This week's issue wrangler is Qiming, and next week's issue wrangler is Michael, two of our folks, one former tech lead of ours, but both folks who are very active in the mainland China Chinese organization. Localization, sorry, for our docs there, but they also wrangle a lot of our general issues here as part of SIGDocs too. For folks who are getting involved in SIGDocs and like to do a little bit more after being involved in our work for a little while, we'd love to have you on the issue wrangling shifts as well. You can reach out directly to me if you'd like to do some possible issue wrangling. It is very self-driven and autonomous there, but I'm happy to take you through what we expect for that as well. Okay, let's start with the rest of our agenda. We always start with the current release. Do we have our docs, release docs person here on the call?
Yeah, naturally. Saw this
Okay.
idea.
Hi, so I'll go for it.
Oh, hi everyone. So sharing the update from the release docs team. So first and the foremost, our current status is green. The version 1.36 Alpha 2 release nodes draft PR has been created by the ML and it's under currently review by the team. Another, the last week branch sync PR, which was for the week 7, has been created, reviewed, and merged successfully as well. And we are monitoring for the version 1.36 Alpha 3 release, which is currently marked as no go. So we are currently staying aligned with the release stream on that. Additionally, we are planning to spend some time this cycle looking for the missed release notes from the RC to ensure better tracking and coverage before going forwards. As I can see that there is an issue from the Kubernetes release, which was missing for the release notes from the previous cycle, I guess. The deadline for opening the placeholder PR has now been passed, and I'm happy to share that all the caps have opened the placeholder PR against the dev 1.36 branch. So that's a great news. At the moment, we are tracking a total of 81 kept this cycle, out of which 60 have opened the placeholder PR in the draft. 12 are ready for review, 3 are completed and merged, and the last and but not the least, the 3 are marked no docs updates. So no progress from the release docs team at the moment. So yeah, that's all from my side.
Awesome update. Congrats on all the caps opening the placeholder PRs if they need one. That's a huge accomplishment at this stage.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Anyone have any questions for Sarah? All right, thanks so much. Great update. I'll just double check. Do we have anyone from comms who has joined? All right, I'll just quickly go through. Thanks, Kat, for putting in from the previous update their status. So comms is green. Their first opt-in reach out is completed. They've got 13 opt-ins. They've also started contact the release highlights, both discussion and like contacting the different SIGs for the work happening with the KEPs this cycle. And then mid-cycle blog draft has also been started. It includes 2 deprecations. I can also imagine that they'll probably need some help on the review side. I know Tim isn't here, our blog owner, but noting here that I'm also happy to help out specifically on the mid-cycle blog, given I believe we're going to have some information there about a certain project, perhaps called Ingress Nginx. Uh, yeah, so happy to do some reviewing there as well. I know Kat, you'll likely be involved there too.
Yeah, we've already required that mid-cycle blog does mention Ingress Nginx, even though ordinarily we would not discuss anything outside of KK. In this case, we 1000% are. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
perfect. For folks who aren't in the know there, Ingress Nginx is quite an important aspect of Kubernetes that is being deprecated rather soon. It may be deprecated live at KubeCon. We'll see if that ends up panning out in terms of the plans for the maintainers there speaking at KubeCon EU, but we'll see. Okay, does anyone have maybe questions for Kat on that update if she may be able to answer?
Sure can.
All right, we can go on with the rest of the agenda. It's a not very long one. Sayak, you've got a PR here that you'd like us to review. Take it away.
Yep. Good news. We are very, very close to upgrading Doxy to zero point 0.7, which was the big breaking change to Doxy that we have pretty much been under works for, I don't know, like a year now? It feels like a
At
year.
least.
Uh,
It feels like an
yeah.
eternity, dude.
I mean, it does. Because we pushed a lot of PRs in during this time just to get things aligned so that the upgrade itself is not a big one. So this is the last PR. I hope it's the last PR. Uh, Beyond which me and team we both have a PR each, which will upgrade Doxy to zero point 0.7, and we'll see after this PR gets merged which PR is closer to the upgrade, and we will do the upgrade. So hopefully, let's see before the next bi-weekly meeting, maybe we'll be upgrading to zero point 0.7. And beyond zero point 0.7, there are a few breaking Doxy upgrades out there. Zero point 0.9, zero point 0.11, I believe, but those are not as drastic of breaking changes. So we will hopefully breeze through them. Famous last words, I know.
Yeah, I do remember I remember when we were on your behalf, Sayak, giving the talk at KubeCon North America
Right,
last year, and you were
right.
talking specifically about how zero point 0.7 had so many breaking changes. Like this really was the the update to end all updates. It could be amazing that from the KubeCons we can have a quick update to say that work has been
Yep.
completed. That could be awesome. No
Yep. Yep.
pressure, but yeah, that could be awesome.
Yeah.
Great. And so with this, like you and Tim, I know are doing a bit of work, but there's a couple of us that could also possibly review. Nate, I know you're listed specifically on this PR, but in general, those of us who are approvers who've got some time, please jump into review. A few files have been changed. It's a beefy one, but it's not. It's a lot of
It's
removal as far as I'm aware. Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
an Excel one. What we would like to have more eyes on is just go through the deploy preview and the current live website and verify as much as possible that things look exactly the same, because that's the intention. There should not be any visible changes. Uh, if there are, let us know. But hopefully there are none, and we can go ahead with this and then point 7.
Awesome. Great. Thanks so much. And thanks, Nate, for taking a look. I'll also try and take a look later on.
Yeah.
If not today, then likely tomorrow. Um, oh, good question, Nate. Are we looking for no deploy changes? Should the generated code be the same?
Generated code, as in, I'm not entirely sure what you
I
mean by.
I think what we want to be looking at for Nate is that the deploy preview in terms of
Mhm.
what is shown looks like the current website
Yeah.
now. Cool. Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah, it is. Yes, it is. Thanks. Great. Thanks, Sayaka. This has been a huge effort for yourself and Tim, and there's been a couple other folks. I believe
Yeah.
Destiny's also been helping out as well. Yes.
Yes.
So there's been a couple other folks involved with this massive effort. This has been really great to get us aligned with the closest version to Doxy that we can, just to make the Docs experience for a lot of our folks easier and easier to contribute to in future from folks coming from other projects as well, which would be great.
That's been a huge goal, just to make sure that maintaining this website is as simple as possible. And I mean, Doxy hasn't stopped releasing new versions.
Well, no.
So
I mean, we would then be bored, Sayak, if they stopped
I
doing
know,
that.
right? I'll lose my whole point in the community if Doxy stops upgrading.
Well, luckily, actually, we have a lot of work on the contributor side to do, so you'll be busy for some time.
Right, right, right.
Yeah. All right,
Yeah.
great. Thanks so much for folks interested also who want to have a look at this, who are watching the recording later. The PI here is listed in the notes. I will update these notes after the fact. My computer is having a fun time where it's clicking away from things, but I'll update the notes after. All right. That's the last issue or PR that's been listed, but does anyone else have an issue or PR that they'd like to bring up before I move on? Okay, thanks so much. If folks listening later do have one, please come into the SIG Docs channel and we can always look there. I want to bring up a couple of questions and discussion points that have been added here by Syoko, who is our localization sub-project lead. Syoko also posted this in the SIG Docs channel, but it's good for us to just quickly discuss here. The dev branch for the traditional Chinese localization, they need a Netlify preview set up. So a few of us who are admins there can help out with that. That would be either myself, Divya, or Ray. I will go in and coordinate with them so that we can do this. But this is something that they are. Many localizations work from a specific dev branch, and the Korean team has had a lot of really great success with using this framework, and so the traditional Chinese team is likely following the same approach, which is great. And then the second point here from Syoko, after a really successful LFX mentorship, specifically with Kat and Ray mentoring there to help with our partial rejigging of the reference docs generator. We've got our next LFX mentorship program that is coming up involving SIG docs that involves the localization subproject. Big ups to Nate and thanks to Nate there for also being on the CNCF side to help approve that work going through. Peter Chang, the mentee there, they're collaborating to help reduce the challenges of maintaining localized content. It's a really great initiative where they're looking to hopefully utilize the powers of some AI, but to help out, but to also make sure that the humans are kept in the loop with a lot of the localization efforts that are taking place. We want to make sure that we can specifically keep supporting localizations as more work happens on the English side. They can be kept up to date with how many English changes are coming through and what they need to prioritize and so on. That's the specific part, I believe, of this mentorship that we are hoping to look for as improvements for the localization teams. So yeah, I want to mention that the program and schedule are also specifically listed there for folks who want to take a look there. But yeah, huge thank you to Syoko and a few of the other Korean localization folks who've jumped in to be mentors there. And a big good luck to Peter Cheng, the mentee. Does anyone have any questions on those two discussion points that I can take back to Syoko if you have them? No? All right. Thanks so much. And then finally, Sayak has gotten in there and put in a last discussion there. I'll hand it
Yeah,
over to you.
I forgot about this. So I believe there was a discussion that has been going on regarding how we can handle PRs when we need to make small changes to multiple localizations. And this is, although it was not raised by me, this particularly is something that's pretty close to me, because when I'm working on the layout changes, it happens very often that the layout affects the content directly, and affects all the translations directly, and the content itself is not affected. Rather, the structure or the HTML tags and other such technical things around the content is affected. And it so happens that I will generally update the English one to work closely with whatever layout changes I made, and I will hope that the localization team takes care of the other ones. And this does lead to two things. Well, either I will need to create like backward compatible changes in the layout so that the translations don't break, or I'll just break the translations and hope that it is noticed by somebody quickly enough that it gets fixed. So this discussion was started as a idea of what if we could have such changes be done on a single PR. And I know that right now, the way Prow works is that if I make a change in any file in any particular localization, I'll probably need an approval from one of the approvers of that localization. So it doesn't really matter how small a change is or what kind of changes, whether it is content or structural. So I'm not entirely sure whether this discussion can be resolved by SIG docs only. We might need to bring in the Proud team to see if we can work together on this. But this is something that we might want to put more eyeballs on.
Yeah, so a couple of things here. We, on the SIGDocs leadership end, have always welcomed one PR for multiple changes across localizations when it affects certain things around the infrastructure of how the website needs to work, because single changes do not make sense in that regard, we believe.
Mhm.
But of course, especially speaking about the idea around minor fix, like the I think the definition of minor fixes needs to be looked at, because if there is, let's say, the same, a very dumb example, but if there is the same spelling error across four localizations,
Mhm.
we would still expect four small PRs to be opened.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, Even though it may be easy to open up one for all four of those. And part of that is the reason of certain localization teams work in specific ways to triage a lot of their work to get more contributors coming in. Like we do want some of that to still kind of be at that level, but at the level of, especially with the Doxy upgrades, I do believe it's also worth revisiting to for sure. And I do think that we can make that decision across SIG docs because we own the localization sub project, and Syoko I can see has been involved in the specific discussion there that you've linked as well. And I think it warrants a specific talk. But we would need to have this chat at the localization sub-project meeting, so there's more of those folks involved
Right.
who would be acutely affected by this. So my proposal would be to actually continue in this discussion, but us leads can weigh in and be at the next localization sub-project meeting to try and actually by that time come to some kind of possible proposal draft because I know a meeting has just taken place, so the next one is not for a month from now, but we could have an aim of and up until the next meeting, a possible proposal around how we can
Right.
rework this.
One thing I do know is that some localization teams, they rely on which date a file was particularly changed to track whether a file is in sync with English or not. So if I go in and just change, say, the structure without updating the content to match English, it completely throws off the localization team for that particular file. Um, so I was more interested in bringing this today because of the mentorship program and the AI enabled translations, right? So maybe we can bring some tooling around this area also, wherein we can detect drift.
Yeah, I was about to say, yeah, it is definitely about detecting drift and not only about providing translations. Because
Yeah,
to be very clear, we in SIG Docs are completely okay with localization teams using tooling to help out with translations, but that
mhm.
their own review then still happens after that fact to speed up their work.
Right,
But
right.
at the same time, those same tools can't be hooked into our specific workflow where that would then sign like that would then they would then sign the commit message on behalf of someone and commit a
Right,
PR. Right, exactly. So
right.
it's the hook in part that can't happen, but the usage of those tools completely okay, and that's fine. I would, as a note on this call, and given that this is recorded, I would recommend against complete copy pasting from an AI tool a translation of something into your PR. Please review it and change things. And that's definitely an official SIG docs position. But the usage of those tools is fine for sure. What I do believe that the mentorship is specifically going to be focusing on is detecting that drift like you mentioned. Nate, you can maybe correct me if I'm wrong there. I know that was one of the goals that was highlighted as part of the mentorship too. So I think that's great. What we can do, I would love us to continue async communication, not only in the discussion, but specifically in the SIG docs localization channel.
Mm.
Given that many of the folks who would be interested in this chat are likely looking there for general localization updates, and this is going to be affecting them. Um, and I know that Syoko specifically focuses on that a little bit, quite a lot. So we can chat there a bit more too. But I will reach out to Syoko to let you know that you've mentioned this specifically as a possible thing to
Mhm.
either look at or consider alongside
Yeah,
the mentorship work that's happening. But I want to stress that they may already have a plan of what they want to work on. So I just want to caution that it may not be included in some of their work, but
yeah,
it's great to bring up for sure. Great. Thanks, Saya.
absolutely.
Um, Nate, did you want to speak to what you've put there in the chat, or are you following the, are you happy to follow the shared thread that Sayak has put there in the meeting notes? If you just okay, specific question about the policy. Okay, great. No worries. Okay, thank you. Thanks so much, Nate. Um, Does anyone have any other comments or anything they'd like to add specifically on that? The discussion is open to anyone to take part in terms of this how we add changes or deploy changes across multiple localizations. So if you're not well versed on the topic, that's fine. You can definitely get involved. as a note, SIG docs and the localization subproject likes to make sure that changes happen in a single localization, unless they are, let's say, infra website-based changes that affect everyone, and we try to make it easier for localizations and thus do that for everyone. But specific things around their actual content is contained to a single localization. All right. Finally, we're at the end of the agenda. Does anyone have any last final topics before we finish up the meeting? All right. Thank you so much, everyone, for taking part. Again, if you're not here for the call, we can always chat asynchronously in some of the various channels that we've got there. Simon, I think I've got a question here that you've just posted in the chat. What about trying to work on a very short PR and you end up fixing the full page via reviewer feedback? Is this specifically, do you mean for localization work, or is this a general question? You may not be able to answer now. Yeah, for the localization, got it. Um, when you say fixing full page, it depends. If it's a full page of content, it would still be contained to a single localization. It really depends on what it is that is being fixed, in that, is it required across every single page in every single language, which is why those changes are very few, actually. The Doxy upgrades are a great example of how that may apply across all localizations. In fact, definitely, but that we may want to actually start implementing that rule across all of them. But something that is affecting content, it would still be contained to a single localization. I hope that answers your question, Simon. Feel free to ping me later if you wish. I know that you're maybe not able to unmute now, but definitely you can ping me on Slack later to ask some more questions, or even just ask in our SIGDocs channel. That's also completely fine. All right, folks. Given that we don't have any more topics, I'll give we don't only have 10 to 15 minutes left of our call, but I'll give you all that time back. Thanks for joining for this week. As a reminder, we do have these meetings every 2 weeks. So next week we won't be meeting, but the week after, just after, should I say? Oh no, just before KubeCon, I think it is. We will be. So feel free to chat with us then. But otherwise, have a lovely week. And for those who are shadowing, PR Wranglers, enjoy your shadowing. Thank you so much for taking part. Bye bye.